Let's see what we can do to graph this equation here. Y equals negative 5/7 x plus 5. I'm going to build a little table. And because I'm going to draw a line, I really need only 2 points, but I'm going to get 3 just as a check. So I'm going to draw a table here, an x value and then the corresponding y value. All right, so first of all, what if x was 0? 0 is always a good one to choose, easy to compute with. So if x is 0, I'm going to put that 0 right into here, and I'll get what? Negative 5/7 times 0. Any number times 0 is 0, so that's just gone. So I end up with y equals 5. All right, so what I get here is y equals 5. All right, so there's a point right there, 0, 5. So I'm going to plot that point. 0, all right, so come over to your graph. 0 is right there at the origin, and then up 5. It's pretty tight. 4, 5. It looks like it's right there. Now, I've got these fractions, but here's what I notice. I don't want to just pick any number for x. I would like to choose a value x that's going to cancel with that 7. So what if I made it 7, 14, 21, any multiple of 7? So if I just choose 7, then here's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get y is equal to what? Negative 5/7 times 7. Put the 7 in for the x, right? You see it here? I'm putting that 7 right in there for the x. And then I still got that plus 5. So plus 5. And then what happens? Well, those 7s cancel. And then I get negative 5 plus 5, which is 0. Right? So there's another point here. 7 for x, 0 for y. So let's plot that. So I'll come over here to my coordinate system. 7 for x, I'm going to go 7 over this way, and then up or down 0. So it just happened to be the intercept. So 7, 0. Let's plot that one. So here's 8. 7 must be right there. 7, 0. Right there. So I've got 2 points, but let's just get another one as a check. Now, what else do I want to use here for x? So I'm up here at this top. So I'm going to put in, I could put in a 14 or a 21, right? 7 goes into 14 twice. 7 goes into 21 3 times. But how about if I get a negative number here? Put in a negative. That'll just get me over on this side over here. It doesn't matter, but I'm just going to put in a negative 7 this time. So for my x value, I'm going to put in negative 7. So I will have negative 5/7. Now put the x in times negative 7 plus 5. Now, negative negative is positive. The 7s cancel, and I get 5 plus 5. I get a 10. All right, so we're over here now at negative 7 on the x, 10 on the y. So let's find that one. Negative 7 on the x, that's about here, and then 10 on the y, that's up here someplace. So let me do a count here. So negative 7 is here, and then 10. Oh boy, 10. You know, I think it's here. Well, that's why you draw 3. Now let's put a line in there. So I'll get my straight edge and try not to move things around too much. Looks like there's my line. Let's graph this equation here in number 8. Now this is quadratic. It's quadratic. The exponent is a 2. So this is a second degree equation. Second degree equations we label as quadratic. We call them quadratic equations. The last one we did, the exponents on both the y and the x were 1s, so those are linear, and we get straight lines. This one, however, is quadratic, so I'm going to get a parabola. Now parabolas look like this. They can open upward or they can open downward. Let's see what this one does. So let's just choose several values for x and get the corresponding y's, and then we'll plot those. Let's draw a table. Here's x, here's y. Now a nice place to start is x equals 0. So just put a 0 in for x right up here. So if you put 0 in for x, we don't need to actually write it all. You can see it. 0 squared is 0. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. So our x value, then our x value is 0, y is negative 5. Now, we'll plot them all at once. Put in another value for x. Now, I'm going to put in a value like 2. 1 is okay. You can put in 1. But if you put in 1 over here on the graph, it starts to get a little close, and maybe it's hard to plot those points. I'll put in a 2. I'm going to get a little farther away from that 0. Now, if I put a 2 in here, right, so I'm going to put a 2 in here. So let's go ahead and do that. It'll look like this. I'll get 2 squared minus 5. Do you see what I did there? I put a 2 right there. 2 squared minus 5. So that gives me 4 minus 5 is negative 1. All right, I'm going to keep track of these points here. Here is 0, negative 5. This one is a 2 and a negative 1. Now let's put in maybe a negative 2. Put in a negative 2. So now if I put this negative 2 in for that x, now being careful, I'm going to get negative 2 squared minus 5. So negative 2 squared is still 4 minus 5. I still get a negative 1. All right, so I'm going to put in negative 2, and I get a negative 1. Let's put in a couple more points. How about if we go out, now I'm going to go out a little farther to 4. I could put in 3, but I want to stretch the points out a little bit. If I put in a 3, all right, I'm going to put a 3 in to that x right there. So I'll get 3 squared minus 5. So let's do it. It'll be 3 squared minus 5. That's 9 minus 5, which is 4. So I get this point, over 3, up 4. Let's do one more. How about negative 3? So if we put in negative 3, I'll get negative 3 squared minus 5. Negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3. It's still a 9 minus 5. I get a 4 again. So you can see we've got symmetry going on here. So I got negative 3 and 4. Let's plot these points. So first of all, let's get the 0, negative 5. So 0, negative 5. There's the 0. So no left or right of movement. But I'm down here at 5. All right, so I'm going to get 0, negative 5. And then what about this one? 2, negative 1. All right, so over here, I'm going to go over 2, down 1. So over 2, down 1. And then this point here, negative 2, down 1. All right, so now I'm going to start the origin. I'm going to go to the left 2, down 1. So to the left 2, down 1 puts me here. And then these other 2 points, I'm going to go through. Oh, I was going to go out further. Well, I didn't. 3, 4. All right, so I'm going to get over 3 at 4. All right, so let's find over 3. There's 3, and then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I've got a point there. Over 3, up 4, right there. And then the last one is negative 3, up 4. So I'm going to go to the left 3, right, to the left 3, to the left 3, up 4. That's going to be right here. Okay, do you see it? If I start here at the origin, I'm going to go to the left 3, up 4. Now, as best you can, draw a smooth curve through these 5 points. So as best you can, a smooth curve. I'm going to round it off here. It's not a point. Well, I missed that. I'm going to start that over. Okay, so let's see. Smooth right through there and then up through here. All right. And I'll put my arrows saying it's going to go on forever. Now, of course, what we're supposed to do is to use the graphing tool, but I don't have the graphing tool available to me right here. But when you use that graphing tool, this is what your graph should look like.